watching Local 5 News at 10 in HD. We are Iowa's most accurate weather team, and we start with your forecast first.
Well, hi, everyone. A very wet afternoon here, and even stormy in eastern Iowa. We've missed all the severe weather here, but it's still raging. Heading into Illinois now. The rain is still in eastern Iowa. We're drying out here, and it's going to be dry as we head into tomorrow. And it looks like pretty quiet weather in terms of rainfall, but the wind is the big story tomorrow. Very windy. It's going to be in the 50s, but those winds could be up to 50 miles per hour at times. We'll talk more about that in your forecast coming up.
Local 5 News at 10 in HD starts now. We are Iowa.
The fact that I've even come this far is evidence of how special America truly is.
The quest for the presidency is over tonight for Senator Marco Rubio after he failed to win the Florida Republican primary this evening. Good evening, I'm Jack Miller. Stephanie has the night off. Big changes tonight in the race for the White House. On the Republican side, an underdog story in Ohio and the end to one campaign. For the Democrats, Hillary Clinton widens the gap between herself and Bernie Sanders. We will have a full recap tonight on your local election headquarters in just a couple of minutes. But first, controversy over speed cameras in Windsor Heights. They already have a reputation for nailing a whole lot of speeders there, but that's been on the decline since May. Now they're looking to sharpen their sights on your car. This while some lawmakers say they will continue to fight to get the speed cameras shut off completely. Local 5's Nikki Davidson has more in tonight's big story.
Windsor Heights has a reputation for strict speed enforcement and a traffic unit that catches a lot of drivers breaking that law. Nearly 8,000 of them last year.
These are flagrant violations. These are 12 miles an hour over the speed limit.
It's not thanks to a super cop. There's no hands on this wheel. It's a radar unit parked around the city that takes drivers' speed from inside an empty car, then photo enforces traffic laws. But in the end, only about 60% of those pictures taken actually lead to a ticket in the mail. When the radar has to look through a windshield, that view can be obstructed.
We live in Iowa. There's rain, there's dirt, there's snow.
Windsor Heights police say that is only one example of why they're now exploring their options, looking to invest in a different vendor for their speed cameras.
The most reliability throughout it, trying to bridge that gap between the 3,000 violations that are currently unenforced.
The police department says strong enforcement, nailing every speeding driver, would create safer roads.
If you have less violations that are occurring on that roadway, your chances of being injured or being involved in a crash would decrease as well.
But some Iowa lawmakers don't believe that.
They're gotcha cams. It's been demonstrated by city after city that it's about revenue.
Senator Brad Zahn says the cameras violate Iowans' rights and believes their desire to change vendors sends a clear message.
If it's about public safety, those cameras, when I see those cars in Windsor Heights or if I know of an area that's traffic enforcement camera, I typically slow down, and that's human nature. That's a reaction most people would have. But they're not happy about the revenue.
And the city has seen a decrease in revenue, $25,000 less in 2015 than they did in 2014. But in total, they've taken in nearly $500,000, while the vendor, Gatso USA, based in Massachusetts, pocketed nearly $300,000.
These cities get addicted to this money, and so I think that's very unfortunate.
Reporting in Windsor Heights, Nikki Davidson, Local 5 News, we are Iowa.
Senator Zahn says he plans to push legislation at the State House this year that would require all Iowa cities to shut off all speed cameras for good. How do you feel about the speed cams already in place in Windsor Heights? Do you want them to stay or go? You can post your thoughts on Twitter and Facebook, send us an email, or give us a call. We'd love to hear what you think. The contact information is on your screen. Tonight's primaries were crucial for 2 of the 4 remaining Republican candidates. Ohio Governor John Kasich and Florida Senator Marco Rubio needed to win their home states to stay relevant against frontrunner Donald Trump. Results are still pending in some states, but ABC and CNN are projecting winners now on each side. For the Democrats, Hillary Clinton has won Florida, North Carolina, and Ohio. Exit polls show she leads in Illinois and Missouri, but those results have not been finalized. Bernie Sanders hasn't won any states yet tonight. For the Republicans, Donald Trump took most of the states, including the coveted 99 29 delegates in Florida, plus Illinois and North Carolina. Missouri has not yet been decided tonight for the Republicans. So the loss in his home state of Florida means Senator Rubio ended his campaign tonight. He told supporters it just wasn't in God's plan tonight, and he was lucky to have even gotten this far. Meanwhile, Florida is seeing record numbers of voters turning out to the polls. It's a trend all across the nation, all political season. Local 5's Caitlin Lawrence has more from Florida in your local election headquarters tonight.
Most political experts saw Florida as a make or break state for Republican presidential candidate Marco Rubio. In fact, Rubio himself predicted 3 weeks ago the winner of Florida would most likely be the Republican nominee. It looks like Rubio's prediction will hold true. Donald Trump easily beat Rubio and the rest of the Republican candidates here to pick up Florida's 99 delegates. Rubio did come in second in his own state, even carrying his hometown, Miami-Dade County. But that just wasn't enough. Shortly after the polls closed in the Florida Panhandle, Rubio ended his campaign. He didn't endorse Ted Cruz, John Kasich, nor Donald Trump. Trump, who appears to be cruising into the Republican convention with a commanding lead in the number of delegates needed to secure the nomination. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton beat Senator Bernie Sanders by an about 2-to-1 margin, giving her about 65% of the 214 Democratic delegates at stake. She appears to be headed to a certain nomination. In the Florida Panhandle, I'm Caitlin Lawrence.
Only one candidate has challenged Donald Trump this evening, and that is Ohio Governor John Kasich. He won his home state and took 66 delegates. Local 5's Randy Yohe has more in your Ohio election headquarters tonight.
Here in Southern Ohio, they're expecting maybe one of the busiest, biggest turnouts in presidential primary recent history. We're at the Board of Elections office, very busy, especially at the printer. They had to print out an extra 1,250 ballots this afternoon, sending them out to 20 precincts, very partisan, all Republican. In fact, they set a record with 3,011 absentee ballots here in Lawrence County, Ohio, and 3/4 of them were Republican. One commissioner is calling it the crossover Trump effect, and that's what we're hearing from out at the polls as well. People are going because they have a big commissioner's race here, 10 people running for 2 seats, but they're also going to the polls to vote for president as well, and we're seeing a Republican lean here in Southern Ohio. I'm Randy Yohe at your local election headquarters in Lawrence County, Ohio.
And results are still coming in from tonight's primaries. For the latest results, you can head to our website. That's weareiowa.com and look for more results on Good Morning Iowa tomorrow morning. A Des Moines mom is on a mission, and her daughter is the messenger. Their point to show the crude and sometimes dirty language Donald Trump uses through the mouth of a 7-year-old girl. Tonight, Local 5's Claire Powell explains why this mom says her daughter doing this is okay.
Instead of vacation.
Do you remember to say real loud so we can hear you?
Yep. 7-year-old Piper and her mom Heather are spending spring break making a production.
What makes you think she can satisfy America?
There you go. You got it.
My jaw kind of dropped because she's a very cute 7-year-old little girl saying
the exact same thing that Donald Trump says. She's saying the exact same thing that the person that wants to be the leader of the free world is saying.
It was Heather's idea to have her daughter, who loves to act just like Donald Trump, repeating quotes from his campaign trail, profanities and all.
Listen, you we're gonna tax you 25%.
As a mom, you're not worried about her going to school and saying these things? How did that talk go?
We actually didn't have a talk about whether or not she should say these things at school because she knows. She knows that it's not appropriate. It would never be an issue.
Piper, who says she's been bullied in school, says she thinks Donald Trump acts the same and needs to be nicer.
What do you think of some of the things that Donald Trump is saying to people?
Yeah, mean, really mean. To say all that stuff in the middle of a debate.
It's stunning. It's just as stunning when he says it because it's just as inappropriate.
The duo has just less than a week of spring break left, and they say they still have a lot of material to go through.
It's kind of an out there role. Some people might even say exploitation a little bit. They could throw that word out there.
It's not exploitation to us. It's just what we do. Some people like football. We really like this. If he stops being crazy and nutty and hateful, maybe that's when we'll stop making the videos. Or maybe we'll just run out of spring break time. I don't know, whichever happens first.
That was Claire Powell reporting. 3 videos are now on YouTube. Heather plans to produce more than a dozen more. We reached out to Donald Trump's campaign for comment. We did not hear back tonight. To see those videos, just head to our website, weareiowa.com. New details tonight in a murder in Ottumwa. Sunday night, the Wapello County Sheriff's Office found 24-year-old Hugo Hernandez dead in a home on 95th Avenue. That's just outside of Ottumwa. They arrested this man, 23-year-old Eric Davila of Ottumwa, Sunday night for possession of a controlled substance and possession of a gun. Tonight, they have officially charged him with murder. Davila is due in court tomorrow morning. Stay with Local 5 as this case continues. A Metro woman is in jail after a pair of shootings Monday morning. 21-year-old Marianne Hannum is accused of 2 different shootings. The first one was at a home near Cleveland Avenue and East 14th Street around 3 a.m. No one was hurt there, but 2 hours later, police got a call for another shooting at an IHOP on Southeast 14th Street. Apparently, a fight broke out and a 17-year-old girl was shot. She's expected to survive, but Hannum is charged now with attempted murder. No court date has been set. Coming up on Local 5 News at 10, the Cyclones are in Denver, and so is our sports team. Local 5 Sports Director John Schaefer reports from the road to the big tournament. And then March Madness is happening here in the Metro too. Hear why our mayor is so excited to play host this year. And it's not the only college tournament happening around the country. See where the top Iowa wrestlers are headed later in sports.
And the rain is long gone, but next we've got the wind to deal with tomorrow and maybe snow by the weekend. The whole forecast is coming up.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Iowa, it is the eve of St. Patty's Day, and with the holiday being celebrated into the weekend, law enforcement, well, they're going to be out in full force keeping you safe. Definitely not a time to press your luck and drive under the influence.
You know what? Our weather not is exactly the kind of St. Patrick's Day weather we want. Prepare for a lot of wind and maybe even some rain.
Put some luck into your day. Join us tomorrow, all new on Good Morning Iowa.